room with a crackhead and a woman who was not his wife.
That might not be true, according to you, about this woman that allegedly you slept with. You allegedly got her pregnant. Listen to just let me draw up the skeleton, Judge, and then you fill in the
allegations that he was caught in a motel room with a crackhead and a woman who was not his wife.
That might not be true, according to you, about this woman that allegedly you slept with. You allegedly got her pregnant. Listen to just let me draw up the skeleton, Judge, and then you fill in the meat.
And when I tell y'all that Judge Mathis checked the hell out of Wendy, baby, he went hard and he went deep.
Let's talk about fueling your stuff. You, on the other hand, have admitted to being addicted to cocaine.
Absolutely.
Secondly, you continue to show symptoms of your addiction.
Okay.
Lastly,
what are those symptoms? Tell me.
These nasal passages you keep coughing up.
And I did Afrin.
This eternal cold that you continue to have.
Yes,
that you can't have to come to work because every other week, and now you even stupid so low as to blame it on your baby, your newborn. How low can you get? That's about as low as you can get, to blame your child for your Then, lastly, your bisexual activity. I'm sure your audience want to know about that. I've heard that rumor.
I'm sure my husband would love that.
Yeah. Oh, he watches? Does he watch when you do it?
Yes. Don't you know?
No, I don't know. I didn't know you were that low down. Lastly, we can continue with what I heard about all those. It's like 8. You had 8 of them.
Oh,
that's what I heard. That's the rumor.
How
now you want to keep fueling that? Did you write about that in your book?
I wrote it in my book.
All 8 of them?
Yes, I wrote. 8. I have an.
Anywho, what happened was there was a woman.
All right. Let's talk about Greg Mathis, Judge Greg Mathis. You guys know who that is if you're in America. If you've been in America more than 10, 15 years, you know who Judge Greg Mathis is, right? You do, right? Sorry about my thingy here. Wala. Let's talk about Judge Greg Mathis. Judge Mathis' wife files for divorce after 39 years. And I played some of those videos for you because I don't know what I'm trying to extract from here, but I have some lessons that I definitely want to share. But that was an exchange that he had with Wendy Williams some years back. I was just literally discovering that when before I jumped on. Yesterday, I had prepared to talk about Judge Greg Mathis and this crazy news: 39 years of marriage down the drain. Some people say wasted. I don't think it's wasted. You learn as you go. But he's a national TV judge, host, internet. Even on the internet, he has big following at this point. And also, I think it's definitely syndicated television shows. I think he's also an author. He also has different shows. He has grown kids, by the way. He has grown kids. Obviously, by the time you are in a marriage for 39 years, it's more likely you probably have grown kids, right? So, but yes, I wanted to talk about this because this is part of the news that travel fast, because obviously nobody, like Tyrese, nobody goes into a marriage just to want divorce. That's not how it works, But there's also some things that are coming to the social media street in terms of some speculations around what caused the divorce. Okay, so there's some stuff around that, and I also want us to talk about that. Okay, so Greg Mathis is a judge. There's some lessons I want to share with you today. I also have the next segment after this where I'm also going to share, with respect to the story, how to mentally prepare for marriage, despite this kind of crazy news around the internet. You will continue to see this kind of stuff. This is real world, okay? People are failing and succeeding all over the place. Your focus is your focus. What you choose to focus on is what's going to be. Now, I know majority of us are going to focus on the negative because, like Tari said, it negative travel fast. Okay, So my goal is to acknowledge that there are some of this negative news out there, but then also help us bring some balance, particularly in terms of lessons that we can learn. Because majority of you still want to be married, even if you're not yet married, or at least want to stay married. And if you don't want to be married, majority of you still want to have sex. Yeah. Yeah, that means you can create kids. Remember that guy from yesterday, Cam Newton, who is too afraid of marriage, so he's just kept creating kids, and he wants more kids, and he wants God to just bring them, and then conveniently left out the part where he will be having sex before kids will show up. Oh Lord, these people, man, Gen Zs.
Not me, Juju be that.
Conveniently left out that part, you know. But yes, that's Ibita one here right now. Balatu Jasi right now. Who just said that? I saw somebody say Balatu Jasi right now. Yeah, that's what we are. Yeah, definitely. Adebusala said Wendy struck a nerve. You know, we can say, but hey, Wendy was dragged, or is a public figure, and everybody knows what Wendy is. You're responsible for what hurts you is how you respond. I know that sounds crazy to most people. That's one of those we go high type of conversation. Trust me. Okay, with time you will get it. Okay, how you respond is what hurts you, not necessarily what the other person does. That's what hurts you the most. Maybe I should say that, because people can hurt you. Okay, but how you respond is actually what hurts you the most. All right. This is giving me Whitney interview vibes. She dragged Wendy, she did. But Wendy is that person, you know, her job is to literally touch a nerve. But is she telling the truth? Sis would like to tell the truth. Is she saying something? Did he say something you can relate with? I wonder why he went so hard back at Wendy that way. I wonder why. Now, she's been in that marriage for 39 years, okay? Obviously, nobody is innocent inside of that marriage, or any marriage for that matter. Chinye said, I love Judge Mathis. Sad they are going through this. It is sad. I've heard that interview before. Yes. So that's actually an interview from some years back when Wendy was active, right? Of course, they have grandchildren. Of course, they have grandchildren, of course. Yep. I admire him a lot. Also, in his right moment, he has a lot of wisdom. Obviously, he's a man of a certain age. He has a lot of wisdom. But, you know, sometimes, you know, your life catches up on you. Yeah. They were definitely not wasted. I'm sure they have some of the best times of their lives during some of those years. What about the children and the grandchildren, right? His kids are in their 30s. Absolutely. Yep. Now, wow, we had Auntie Alakija, now Auntie Mathis. What is going on? All right. So today I want to cover some of the things that can lead to this type of situation. As you know, as Tyrese was doing, they're very quick. Some of our men are very quick to give examples from the 1960s, or your aunties that are staying married for the last 39 years or 40 years, or your aunties that are still staying married 63 years later, but they've been showing that man shaggy for the last 30 years of that. They don't ever talk about that part.
Sorry.
Yeah, those exist too. There are some people that are married on paper, they just never got to the court part. You know, like, you know, there's some people like that. So all of that are in the same box, in the same category. Now, they've obviously shown a lot of pictures, a lot of red carpet moments. Look at this moment right here, right? You know, these are TV shows. You can see that there's a camera, stages, there's money involved. And like Tari said earlier, it's not their responsibility to come and showcase their bad moments. But my job is to tell you that from some of the stories, because I have older clients too, some of the stories, I'm going to share with you some of the stories that lead to empty nesters ending up in divorce. Okay, that's really what I wanted to do with this segment today. Okay, but just so you know, he's had some scandals. You know, he doesn't have a clean record. He's had some scandals. that would basically, align with some behaviors that can lead to divorce 45 years later. There's been some speculation that there's some videos that came out. Some persons allegedly, I'm saying right now, allegedly, I don't know, I haven't seen anything on any platform that's or any platform that's what do you call it, any reputable platform that actually confirmed this, even as a report. But some people say they have videos of him at PDD's parties or something like that. Don't quote me, because I don't see that. I saw that somewhere. All right. But there's definitely been the accusations, which is what Wendy was talking about. There's been some accusations around infidelity. Somebody accused him, which is what Wendy was talking about. Somebody accused him of impregnating her and stuff like that. Now, they've debunked that from back then. But as you can see, the way he handled it did not sound like it was a lie. For somebody who is a public figure, it did not sound like it was a lie. Just because you're tackling the person making the report does not make it, oh, he sounded like he was just trying to protect his name. No, nonsense. He's a public figure. The way he reacted to that is actually opposite. It sounds like something hit a nerve. Okay. So, in fact, they were saying that some of these people are crackhead. They were saying that it was found in brothels and stuff like that. Now, there's another video. Probably, it might have been in some of this video that I'm playing on the screen. Shout out to this lady that I'm playing a video, Culture Spill. There's another video of him in an altercation in front of a club, actually spitting in people's face. Okay, spitting in somebody's face. I don't know where you come from. From where I come from, that's not normal. Most normal people would not ever find themselves in that space where they're spitting in somebody's face. Okay. Now, reality TV show, yeah, might make you think that people just walk around. If you offend me, I'll just spit in your face. That's not where I'm from. That's the low of the lowest. Considering the man of status that he is, it's even his image till now. He's a well-respected man. Right, but some of these scandals out there, it was in the middle of a street broil in front of a club, for that matter, So there's a question that people are asking: if he conducted himself like that in public, what did he do behind the scenes? What in their worst moment? It could have been 1 or 2 or 3 moments in the span of 39 years, but in their worst moment, what did he do? Right? We will never know, because I'm not speculating. I'm just saying this is just what people are wondering. Okay. But sometimes we've committed some things long ago in our marriage and we expect that we've resolved it and it should just go away. Unresolved issues are some of the enemies of these marriages. Okay. One party is under the impression we've resolved that. The other party is just another resentment in their mind, right? And it's become resentment because they don't feel free to also bring it up. They don't feel the freedom to express themselves. It might not be your fault. They might just be the kind of person that bottle up issues. They're introverts. They're very quiet. They don't like confrontation. Maybe it's not your fault. Just because it's not your fault does not make it not your problem, because you're married to this person. It becomes your problem effectively once you care about this person and you're married to them. And if you don't see it that way, a divorce will become your problem, because you will need to go through that and walk through that. So, but yes, let me come to the chat for a second before I go through some of the stuff. Now, the reports are that they've been living apart for a while. See, the video you're looking at is the broil that was talking about, the altercation that he had in front of a club, all right, where he allegedly spat. You see that headline? It says, Judge Mathis video of alleged spit attack on a valet driver. We don't know what the valet driver, we don't know what that person did, right? We don't know, right? But it's just something to wonder. He denies However, there's a report here. Judge Mathis denies spitting on a parking valet despite the valet's accusations. Well, we got the video and you can judge for yourself. Let's see. Let me see what that looks like. If there's anything we can see, we can't really see. Okay, so he definitely was in an auto. Oh my God, he did something. Somebody was sitting. I don't know what he did there. He did something, right? Okay, so anyway, so I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, so I'm not gonna make any kind of key to that. But some of these marriages that are ending at 40 years, 45 years later is easy. The easy part about this conversation is that modern women, they're leaving their marriage, they're buying into feminist. That's the easy thing to do. Thinking a little bit deeper, critical thinking is hard to do. It's hard to do. So try. Okay? Try it. Oh God, can't they work it out? Chai. Again, the capacity to act, think, behave, and talk in a mature and dignified manner is what defines maturity. I don't think it's a wasted marriage. I don't think so too. But as far as that marriage is concerned, it might just be over. Him and Baba Lakija are brothers from different continents. He seemed to have a short temper. It gets worse. So I haven't seen more story about Baba Lakija. Is that what they said about him? Yeah, we should see. But here are some of the lessons that I think we should take away from Judge Mathis with regards to this, right? What some of the things that causes, okay, these are some of the reasons. I have 5 things that can cause a marriage to be over. Okay, even though that's not the plan. I have 5 things that I want to share with you, okay, that people don't pay attention to. People make assumptions that the commitments they made in front of God, in front of the whole world, that should be enough for the other person. If it's good enough for you, it might not be good for the other person. Oh, it shouldn't be. Stop encouraging it to me. I'm not encouraging. I'm telling you the reality. It might not be good for the other person. It might actually be good enough for them, but they're going through something else that you haven't paid attention to. So the reality is that growth and change can actually cause people to pull the plug. Okay? What kind of growth is that? Growth is supposed to make us move in the right direction. Well, remember that maybe it's growth in different direction. So if they've been trying to talk to you and you haven't paid attention, or it's going to be hard for you to admit that you haven't paid attention, because in your mind, based on your own experience, you've been paying attention. But then also, when was the last time you asked? Right? When was the last time you asked, or just like blatantly just asked, like, how are you doing? When was the last time you asked? How we've gone past all of that now. What kind of Oyinbo nonsense is that? I know. These are the issues. So if you're married, I don't care if you've been married for so long that you feel like you've known each other. Remember, this is one of my 17 points yesterday. That is an assumption. And it's an assumption that can potentially hurt you. And actually, that's boring, that you think you've known each other, you know where everybody is coming from. These are the reasons why people can pull the plug on you. So regular check-ins, okay, now how you do regular check-ins matter, but some type of regular check-ins, even if it's something as simple as how you doing? Is there any way I can help? Any way I can make your life easier goes a long way in terms of mitigating the risk of people growing apart. Okay. You might just find that it's the first time that they feel safe enough to talk to you. I know it's your husband. You've known this person. You know everything you're supposed to know about them. That's false. That's number 1. Number 2, don't make that assumption. It doesn't help you, and that's boring too. Okay, instead assume that there's more to discover about the husband that you've disconnected so far from. You've disconnected, I don't think it's there anymore. What do you do if you've disconnected from the person? Connect it. Okay, it's not that simple, but the point is the fact that you feel disconnected sounds like somebody who is not in control of their own life, their own emotions. Sounds like lack of emotional self-control. Now, I'm not saying it's not real, but re-engage yourself. Why are you in a place where you committed once upon a time? You used to be in love, but you're disconnected. Can you at least take the time, journal, write out what are the reasons? Maybe they've actually offended you. Maybe you actually have unresolved issues. Can you take that time to write that out, right? And then maybe you can now do a regular check-in. Maybe you have some room in you to do some regular check-in. Again, something as simple as, how are you doing? You know, how can I become a better wife? How can I become a better husband to you? Oh, it's so awkward. All this Oyinbo stuff. You see, you know what's going to become Oyinbo when you end up in that divorce court. I don't care about divorce. Okay, then let's go ahead and pull the plug. Right? If you don't care, right? I'm guessing that's not what you want. Okay, like, can we come back to the conversation? It's not about our coconut heads. It's about being intentional, right? And many people, especially hardworking people like a Judge Mathis, probably have not paid attention in a long time. The second probably obvious, but a good reminder is communication breakdown. Communication breakdown, a lot of people are not willing to admit to that because they've been talking all along. I've been talking, you haven't been listening. Have you been listening? So how do you mitigate communication breakdown? It's very, very simple, but can be very, very hard because of our coconut head. Simple and easy is not the same thing. It's very simple, but can be very, very hard. Okay. The way you mitigate communication breakdown is active listening. It's not the same thing as listening. Okay. It's not the same thing as I talk, you talk, me, I talk. Both of us have equal way to talk. No. That's the wrong angle. That's the wrong approach. Active listening, you get to talk. Make sure you understand where the person you're having a conversation with, make sure you take your time to understand where they're coming from. If you do that, right? Oh, by the way, some of you are very quick to say your partner, they are terrible communicator. You know what that makes you? A terrible communicator. Shout out, clap for yourself. Because there's a good chance that just because you know how to initiate conversation, you speak your mind, you think you're a good communicator. No, you're not. You're not. You're probably a terrible communicator. All right. So active listening is key to mitigating communication breakdown. So who should lead? You. If you are the one complaining, you can lead. If you lead, eventually you will find the balance you're looking for, because human beings have what we call the law of reciprocity. Naturally, they will reciprocate. But if you can't do it long enough, or if you get stuck in, well, just one person cannot be working on the marriage. If you get stuck in that space, I agree with you. You're stuck. Okay? You're stuck. Number 3 reasons why a 39-year marriage can end up in the ditch. Okay? Is unresolved issues. I've spoken about that already. Okay? Unresolved issues. Okay, but do you know how to talk? Do you know how to communicate? Do you equate communication to effective communication? Do you see them as the same? They're not the same. Okay, they're not the same. All right, you might be communicating, but you might be a terrible communicator. So how do you resolve the issues? Well, you got to do a little bit more fact finding. Stop making assumptions. Pay attention. Yes, read minds sometimes. No, not really. Okay, not really, but at least be listening. Listen a little bit longer than you would typically do. Okay, all right. You will never be able to read minds, so stop bringing that up. Okay, but people can almost think you're reading mind if you're really good at active listening, but they never really realize that you know how to take your time when it comes to this to listening to your partner, to understand where they're coming from. Yeah, those awkward silences, it's okay. Listen a little bit longer than you typically do. But here's the part that gets tested. Conflict resolution. They're going to say things that will trigger you. Do you know how to handle that? It's a skill set. It's a skill set. It's not stuff that you can do because you have common sense. Okay, just because you have common sense doesn't mean you know how to resolve. You might know the theory. Can you practice it? Right? Okay. Do you remember this when you're actually in the middle of this type of events? because all of us will get tested. If the thing is good enough, you will get tested. If the marriage is good enough, you will get tested. Does that help? All right. Another thing that can cause a marriage 39 years to end up in the ditch. This one might actually, like this again, none of this is your fault. It's just a matter of acquiring the necessary skills. But this one might not be a matter of skill set too. Okay. Lifestyle differences. Somebody ends up saying, oh, I didn't know that you like men. Right? And they're like, yeah, it's always been there. I'm not saying that's what's happening to. I'm not saying that's what happened to Uncle Greg Mathis, but I'm just saying this is one of the things that somebody might just find out something crazy later on in life that they never knew, and that will shatter and destroy trust. And without trust, it's like what's left? Okay, it's nothing left. Hit the like button, do me a favor, hit the like button. We're talking about George Mathis, and these are the 5 lessons that I think we can take away from this. If you are afraid of marriage because you're seeing this kind of marriages ending, it's not going to be as simple as these are celebrities. Of course, no. Stop the cap. Okay, it's not that simple. There's more to it. Okay, there's some lessons you can extract out of this. You take your own, you take the meat, you leave the bone, you throw it out. Okay, this is the other one that many of us know as theory, but it's also still have a tendency to creep up on us. All right, and it's this one right here, the empty nest syndrome. You guys know what empty nest is, right? The empty nest syndrome is real. Let me see what this empty nest syndrome refers to: the grief that many parents feel when their parents move out of home. This condition is typically more common in women who are more likely to have had the role of primary carer. You see, awareness is half the battle won. If you know that this thing is a thing, right, without arguing with your destiny, you will basically you will mitigate it. Okay, you would have already won half the battle. So how do you mitigate this, right? Where is Misty? Misty is not here today. Misty, where are you? Are you listening behind the scenes? All right, so a lot of you that want to put your children before your spouse, you will be more exposed to the risk of the empty nest syndrome. You're going to leave your ass behind. Who? The children, yes. And you become more exposed. So put your spouse first. Okay, put your spouse first before your children. Okay, put your spouse before. This is one of the many reasons why you want to do that. That's in addition to the fact that your children, you can't afford that your children think there's a division between the two of you. Okay, now you cannot patch this. If there's a division, there's an active division. Remember, going back to unresolved issues, the issues actually have to be resolved. But ultimately, in the long run, you want to make sure that you're putting your spouse first. Okay, so that when those children leave, to a large extent, it's not that deep. In fact, both of you are the one taking them to college. You're taking them to go check out their room for their orientation. One person is not feeling empty because the children left the house. Ladies, you have a tendency to set yourself up this way. Of course, there will be more than enough offenses that has offended you in 39 years that you can point fingers at. Say, oh, he's doing this, that, but he's been doing that. But somehow you suddenly remember now that he's been doing what he's been doing. So empty nest syndrome is another reason why a 39-year-old marriage will end up in the ditch. So it's very easy to say, I told him last year that we need to start traveling the world, but he keeps working 15 hours a day. This is some things that Greg Mathis have been accused of, because he was actually appreciating his woman at some point. Say, oh, she allowed me to work 15 hours a day, 5 to 6. Listen, you can be appreciating her deep inside. She might be like, right? Oh, it's easy for men to bring this up and say, but if you're not making money, she'll be the one to first leave you too. I know. But guess who will still collect? You. All those talking points are not enough. These are just things you should simply pay attention to. Okay. So number one, growth and exchange. Growth and change is a reason. People growing apart. Number two, communication breakdown. Okay, you can solve that by active listening. Solving number one is regular check-ins. Keep it simple. Just checking in, just showing that you care goes a long way. Learning your spouse's love language, and stop making it a trivial thing. Just make it your own. Own it. Stop thinking it's all trivial. You're dealing with another human being at the end of the day. You need to pay attention. Okay. Number three, unresolved issues. Conflict resolution is a skill set. You can't use common sense for this. Okay. Your job does not use common sense and say you have common sense. You should know conflict resolution. If you are part of management in any reputable job, they literally take you through conflict resolution classes. Okay. Unless that business is not going to last for a long time either. Same thing with marriage, right? You see, we're very disrespectful to marriage. Lifestyle differences is number four. How do you fix that? Balanced, shared individual goals. I forgot to say that. Okay, balanced and individual goals over time is how you adjust and mitigate against the risk of lifestyle differences. The only lifestyle differences that can exist is not just because one person is gay. No, that's just one of about 200,000 other things. But if you guys are living two different lives, you've been roommates for so long, but you stay there because of the children, guess what's going to happen eventually? Number five, empty nest syndrome. All right. Don't put those children before your wife or your husband. You will hurt yourself. You hurt yourself. Promise. Guaranteed. Sarah Logan says empty nest syndrome is a real thing. Women tend to get affected the most because we tend to put our children first, which is wrong. Thank you, Sarah Logan. Exactly. Uncle Beno, I see you, bros. If the woman wants to travel the world, then let her bring the money and have the man quit his job. I beg. See, unfortunately, I agree with you, but it's not one extreme or the other. The real truth is somewhere in between. The real truth of what happens and transpires somewhere in between. So that makes you, as a part, always responsible as a part of that relationship, right? But even more responsible if you want to take the credit as the leader. Once you realize early enough that your partner comes first, and that it doesn't mean you love your children less, you will do better. Yes, it drives so many other things. It's a mindset that drives the family in the right direction in so many other ways. Lots of marriages are in turmoil when the children leave the nest. Exactly. Yep. Because the couple realize they are so disconnected and don't even know each other. Yeah. Like who's this person? Right? Because they've been coping for so long. Some of them have been sleeping in different rooms. They don't realize it. Some of them are always traveled. Like someone like Judge Mathis is probably always traveled. Right? Now, there's also reports that she's been managing the company's money, but that doesn't mean they are nurturing their relationship. They might be nurturing their professional relationship, but it doesn't mean that they've been nurturing their relationship. So in all of this, we're just generalizing things that we can learn. I don't know what happened in their personal stories, but this is just another opportunity to work on yourself first, so you can actually bring something solid to the marriage. Okay. So even when there's a need for help, or your husband is coconut head or your wife is coconut head, you know exactly what to do to influence the change you require, that you desire. But what are your thoughts about this? What are your lessons? Which one of this stand out to you? But I have something else, another story, the email story that I want to share with you, how to mentally prepare for marriage. And I'm about to get into that right now. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified whenever we go live. Okay. But let me know your thoughts in the comment area if you're watching this as a replay later. I'll be right back.
Hey Prestige fam, show some love to the video. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Are you in Europe, America, and struggling in your relationship? From argument to abuse and trust issues, we are here to help.
Lola and I founded Prestige Marriage Academy to transform your story. With 20 years of friendship, 17 years of marriage, experience with navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and personalized coaching, includes 24/7 support. Ignorance is expensive. WhatsApp us at +1 732 305 8577 to book a free discovery session today and take charge now.
Don't wing it.
Join us in creating the love life you deserve.